Your content isn't broken because of the algorithm. It's broken because your audience doesn't scroll the way they used to. In 2025, people don't scroll for content. They scroll for clarity. And 90% of experts just haven't caught up just yet. I'm Marco Russell, and today I'm gonna share with you what actually changed and how the top 10% are scaling faster without posting more. And I know this from personal experience because I actually got started doing all this before Instagram came out. So the hustle heavy approach that worked before is now a trap. Most experts are stuck in the content hamster wheel, posting daily, but not growing. If you haven't noticed yet, the algorithm rewards engagement, not expertise. So you're literally competing with entertainment. So you're out here trying to educate people, but people are here being lured by the entertainment. Your ideal clients aren't scrolling for more content. They're actively looking for solutions. So the shift is to go from visibility at all costs to strategic presence and strategic absence with purpose. So I'll give you an example. So right now, obviously you're watching this video on YouTube. So we got specific platforms that we're on at the time of us making this video. So we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we also do some stuff on Facebook, but we're looking at where we want to be, and we want to be strategically present and we want to be strategically absent at the same time, because we're building this ecosystem and we're gonna have, okay, what are we saying yes to and what are we saying no to? But it's not mandatory for us to be on everything. And it's the same for you. You don't have to be on everything always, everywhere. So point number 2, let's talk about what actually matters, especially right now for you to win in your business. Quality over quantity. One strategic piece beats 10 random posts every day of the week. Every piece of content you create should work as a sales system, not just brand awareness. Our goal for the past 15 years has been to create a blanket of goodwill around the marketplace that nothing get through. A lot of times people are trying to extract equity from the marketplace, meaning they're trying to make sales and make offers, and they're wondering why nobody's buying is because they haven't sown enough goodwill into the marketplace. So as you're creating content, just like we're creating this piece of content, we're not creating content to make sales, we're creating content to create goodwill and put equity into the marketplace. And then as individuals consume this content, then a certain percentage of them will actually reach out and we'll do some business together. And Google did a study actually. Before somebody makes a buying decision, generally speaking, it needs 7 hours of content, 11 different touch points, and 4 different locations. So we actually have to feed the system. So when individuals are looking for specific solutions that we provide, we actually got content that's actually doing the heavy lifting for us. So now when somebody reaches out and they're actually ready to have a conversation about us working together, they've already done all the research and they've consumed the content, and now we think the same at some level. And now we don't have to have hard selling, high pressure sales conversations, because we don't like that. We just like the marketing to do what it's supposed to do. Like I said, great marketing makes selling unnecessary. So you want to focus on platforms where your ideal clients are hanging out before they make buying decisions. So for example, YouTube. Individuals on YouTube, they typically have really high intent. They're on there actively searching for something. My rule of thought is individuals don't really come to certain social media platforms. For example, like Instagram, Facebook, they're not necessarily there to buy, but if they see something that speaks to where they are, they will buy. So some people think that my ideal clients are high-end executives, they're high-end professionals, so they're only on LinkedIn. I should only be on LinkedIn. I think that's absolutely false. I think those high-end executives, they also binge scroll Instagram. They also binge scroll Facebook. So you want to be strategically present there as well. So now you have this omnipresence effect where they're like, I saw this person on LinkedIn. Now I'm sitting over here. Let me continue to dive deeper into this. So every piece of content should move someone closer to working with you. So here's the new rule. If it doesn't generate leads or nurture prospects, don't post it. That's the bottom line. Now, let's get to point 3. Here's the CEO approach to social media. CEOs don't create content. They create content systems that work without them. So every piece of content that CEOs create, they look at it as an asset. These assets are designed to go out in the marketplace and create awareness and create a pipeline for deal flow. So your social media should be generating qualified leads while you sleep and nurturing those leads. This is the difference between posting and having a strategic content funnel. This is how we go from having a marketing funnel to having a marketing ecosystem. So we want to have people to see your content, and through that strategic content funnel, they now become a part of a marketing ecosystem that's doing the nurturing and selling for you. So now when it's time to have an enrollment conversation, they're already pre-sold and predisposed to working with you because your content system has done the heavy lifting. And this is how you turn your expertise into a predictable client acquisition system. And this is why most experts are wrongfully working in their marketing instead of working on their marketing. Working on their marketing is creating these assets that's gonna go out into the world and work for you 24/7, 365. And the beautiful thing about this content is it creates what we call parasocial relationships. We see it with celebrities all the time. So you see with Beyonce, for example, Beyonce has the Beehive, and you have Taylor Swift. I think Taylor Swift has the Swifties, if I'm not mistaken, right? But these individuals, they have massive followings. No matter where they are, people are gonna tap into them. They've created parasocial relationships through this content, because the more you're strategically nurturing them, they're like, I really like this person, I really know this person, I really trust this person, and I'm willing to do business with them. Now, lastly, for point 4 is a strategic scale method. And it's a 3-pillar system: attract, convert, scale, and this is without you doing everything. This is how you create content that pre-sells your services before your prospects even speak to you. This is the difference between being busy on social media to being profitable and having a predictable client acquisition system. And this is why your content strategy should actually work like a sales team, not a marketing department. So for example, we just had an event, and this young lady named Destiny was on the event, and we had a conversation in the VIP session, and she was like, do y'all just help do all of this? And I was like, well, yeah. And she was like, well, I would rather y'all just help me do all of this instead of me just trying to take this advice to go implement it. Now, little did I know, Destiny had already been consuming our content. So by the time we had a conversation, I didn't have to sell her on. I didn't have to go into a sales pitch. I didn't have to make her an offer and that type of stuff. She actually asked me to make her an offer, essentially, and was like, I'm ready to buy. Very simple. And that's the power of this process. I was speaking to another client, because part of our program, in our consulting program, we actually do live call reviews with our clients. So one thing I was explaining to them is that it's not about what you say on the phone. It's about what you say in your content, in your strategic content system that people consume and that they begin to repeat. Now, when they get on the phone with you, they actually begin to repeat to you what you said in your content. And then when I explained this to these 2 gentlemen at our event, where I was walking them through this whole process, and now we began to take what we're hearing on these calls, and we're taking commonly asked questions and FAQs and so forth, and now we use that in the content. Now individuals consume this content, and they can get to this point where now they come on the call already pre-sold. And I always tell clients that when you create content consistently, it makes your ads about 300% more profitable. Can you do this with just ads? 100%. But with the 7-11-4 rule that I shared with Google, people are gonna see your ad and they're gonna like, okay, who is this person? And they're gonna wanna go do some research, and you wanna have these assets in place that's helping them do the research. Quick pause, because if this is hitting home and you know your business depends too much on you, that's exactly what we fix every day. My team and I install the marketing and sales systems that free founders from the daily grind while increasing revenue. There's a link below to book a strategic scale session. Is where we map out your system step by step. If freedom's the goal for you, this is where it starts. You can keep chasing trends, or you can build a business that runs without you. If you're ready to install the systems that give you freedom and predictable growth, click the link below to book a free strategic scale session with me and my team. We'll map out exactly how to simplify your marketing and scale without burning out. And before you go, watch this video next. It breaks down the exact framework behind scaling a business that no longer requires you to work 60+ hour weeks.